With the addition of Hae-In, the most common question everyone will always ask will be, is she actually good? Well, today I'll be answering exactly that, as I'll be ranking her on this tier list right here. And if you missed it, this was the previous Hunter tier list that I did, where I ranked every Hunter within the game, and I've also got to make some changes to that, but this is going to be the current one right here. And you may have noticed that I've added a brand new tier, which is the SS tier, as I can't help but just think that there's just so many good characters that I think that some are just way better than others that are on the S tier anyway, so I think some definitely might have to go up or just stay in the place where they are. But first things first, I do need to make some changes, as yeah, I wasn't really aware as to how good some of these characters actually were. And starting off in the detail, I have a couple changes I want to make, and that is to do with Ana Ruiz and also Lee Juhee. As before, my biggest sort of thing that I didn't really like too much about Ana Ruiz was her passive, only having a 6% chance to inflict the corrosive poison, but after seeing a bit more gameplay of her, it's actually a lot easier to apply this effect than I originally thought, or at least based on what other gameplay I have actually seen, which makes this debuff a lot easier to apply based on what I used to think. So I think because of that, she's a lot better in general. And just keep in mind, this tier list is based off of all the characters at zero dupes, as some characters are just way better with dupes, and so it's not, and some people just don't really have access to that. So yeah, so for Ana Ruiz, I'm probably going to bump her straight up to the B tier. I think, yeah, because of that, I think she's definitely a lot better. I think she's definitely better than Song Chil, that's for sure. And the next character I want to bump up slightly, not too much, is going to be Lee Juhee, as a lot of you in the comments down below, which also thank you for leaving your feedback down in the comments, it really helps a lot. But a lot of you let me know that Lee Juhee is actually really good for Power of Destruction, as she has obviously a lot of healing. But the main reason for that, I think, was on her third dupe, as her third dupe basically says Juhee and her team members recover 400 of their mana when Juhee uses Healing Circle. However, because this tier list is ranked off characters having zero dupes, it means that point doesn't really apply. However, I do think she is still a little bit better than what I originally thought anyways. So I'm probably going to bump her up all the way from D tier all the way into the C tier. And then in the C tier, we have Song Chil as well as also Han Song-Yi. And Song-Yi did receive a little bit of a buff recently, as I do believe it was her retrieve skill that got a bit of a damage bonus, which is, it's alright. I still don't think she's going to be anything too crazy. I think she'll be alright, but she'll be a little bit bad, but I don't think she's going to be so much better to the point where she'll probably move up a tier, so I'm probably going to keep the C tier as it is. And then the B tier, are there any characters in here that I want to move up? I'm not too sure. I might bump up Kang Tae-shik. I'm not too sure, because he is just really good for damage. Eugene Ho, as well as Kim Chul and Dong-suk, they're also, I think they're fine in the B tier. I think I'm going to keep this the same. I think this is fine, because I think Kang Tae-shik benefits just a lot out of dupes, so, but the bleed debuff is really good, so it's like, maybe. Yeah, screw it. I'm going to put him in A tier. And then characters to move up from the A tier, I don't really think there's anybody else. I think Park Hee-jin, Nam Chae-young, Lee Bora, yeah, Lim Tae-kyu, Bae Kyun-ho, and Dong-soo, I think are definitely all fine. And then finally the S tier, do I want to move anybody up? If I'm gonna move anybody up, it would be one, maybe two characters. Probably only one though, as I genuinely think, excluding Hae-In, who I'll get onto in a minute, I do think Emma Lauren is the best hunter in the game, so I'm really tempted to put her in at the very top in SS tier, because I mean, she's just so good, man. She's just so broken, honestly. Like, her damage is ridiculous, break damage is so good, ultimate is amazing, a ton of AoE damage. Oh, I might do it, I'm not too sure. Nah, I'm gonna keep everyone in the S tier, still in the S tier, I think. And then finally, we have the one, the only Hae-In, the inevitable. Honestly, this character is broken, which is why straight away she's going to be the one and the only character to go into the SS tier. I'm still tempted to maybe put Emma Lauren here, I'm not too sure. But yeah, Hae-In is easily the best hunter in the game without a doubt. I've playtested her a ton, and her damage is genuinely ridiculous. Her burst damage is crazy with her ultimate. She applies a ton of damage with being able to spam the dancer skill as well, with obviously Light of the End being her ultimate and also the dancer being her first basic skill. And the reason why the dancer is so good, because it increases your attack and crit damage by 8%, which stacks up to 3 times, which can then stack up to 5 times if you do have her first dupe for her. But again, this tier list isn't based off of dupes, but that doesn't even take away too much from her, because she is just busted, as her ultimate as well, as I mentioned before, Light of the End will give you a 30% damage increase when attacking a branded target, and then that specific brand debuff will increase the chance that enemies will take critical damage, and then it'll also increase the amount of damage that they do take from critical hits as well, which is just ridiculous. This debuff is ridiculous. And not to mention the unrecoverable debuff, which is so good against enemies that have the lifesteal effect or just a self-healing effect, like the spider, the arachnid boss. So good. It makes her literally the perfect character for those enemies. So literally any character in the future that's going to have some form of a lifesteal or just healing, self-healing in general, she completely shuts down. And then she also has Sword of Light, which is just has her second basic skill, which is like sort of like a mini version of her ultimate, as you do also apply the unrecoverable debuff with it, just like how you do it with your support skill. And this will also increase the amount of damage based on if the enemy has the brand debuff, but this is only a 15% increase, but this skill just still does a ridiculous amount of damage. Her core attacks and also basic attacks do a ton of damage. I really underestimate how good core attacks and basic attacks could be when you just have a really broken DPS. And overall, I genuinely think she is definitely the best hunter in the game. Her QTE skill is amazing because it's a very free, easy way to apply the brand debuff. So when you're playing in the hunter game mode, you can have Hae-In either second or third in your rotation, and then pretty much as soon as you bring her in with her QTE skill, not only will you get a ton of damage just through critting a bunch, you'll be able to inflict airborne as well, which will like sort of like, I guess, stun them for a bit because they're just like floating in the air for a bit. But then you can also apply that brand debuff for 15 seconds. 15 seconds in total is a joke. Like, it lasts for so long that you can just stay in with her for ages and ages and ages to do a ton of damage, which is why she's going to be the one and the only character in the SS tier. I'd say the only hunter in the game that does come close is going to be Emma Laurent, as Emma Laurent just offers a ton in pretty much every piece of content as well. As the only thing that Hae-In doesn't really have is like a massive amount and like a huge AoE effect, as some of her skills do have like really high amounts of like sort of AoE sort of damage and AoE range, I guess you could say, mainly being her second basic skill. But you've got to kind of be positioned quite well in order to get that off, so it's a little bit inconsistent. However, with a character like Emma Laurent, with her skill Burn Up, she can just press it and then just do a ton of damage in a massive area, which is just amazing. Which is why I probably was considering putting her up to the SS tier, as she's kind of like the only hunter in the game that does this, or at least to the scale that she can do it anyway, as there's not really like too many characters that compete on a level to Emma Laurent. I'd say the next closest character is going to be Choi Jong-in. But yeah, overall, I think I'm pretty happy with this tier list. I'd say characters I'm still slightly unsure about are maybe some of the characters in the A tier. But yeah, but even with all of Emma Laurent's like sort of just great aspects and stuff with her AoE damage, I still don't think she's SS tier, because that is just how good Hae-In is. And if you do want to see how good Hae-In is, then watch my showcase video. I'll leave a link down below, or you can just click on my channel just to see it, because bro, the damage she does is just honestly nuts. It's way too good and makes her a definite must-have character. Alright, so that is it for my final hunter tier list for I guess the global launch of Solo Leveling Arise and the newly added Hae-In. She is a busted character, so good. But yeah, and then things I'm sort of maybe a little bit skeptical of. Maybe Han Song-Yi's a little bit better. I'm not too sure, but I think I'm overall pretty happy with this tier list so far. I might be underrating characters like Dongsu, to be honest. I think Dongsu has potential to maybe go up to S tier, because I think his shield removal is going to be really good and really valuable soon. So there you have it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of my tier list, and don't forget to like and subscribe as well, as it helps a ton. And if you want to go the extra mile, the extra step to support me as a creator, then click the link down below to support me on Solo Leveling Arise. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.